Hello, I have been talking all year long about Tom Brady winning the Super Bowl. So I'm really excited that it came to fruition. I am a New England Patriots fan because my husband worked for the New England Patriots for almost 3 years. And so that makes me a fan by association, but I don't know really much about football. I don't really get into the politics of it, but I do know that I like working with champions and I like working with winners. I don't know if you know this, but I spent about a year working, my husband worked with Bo Eason, who was a former professional athlete. I have worked with Brett Johnson. Brett Johnson was also a former professional athlete. And my little brother Jake inspires me all the time. And Jake was a 3-time state championship in hockey with Malden Catholic High School. He is playing in the British Columbia Hockey League right now. I have another brother, Nate, the warrior athlete that I've talked about. And Nate played collegiate baseball. And I just find that when you look at athletes, there's things that are so measurable because there is a beginning and an end of this season. There is a win or a loss. There's something that at the end, this is what they get. And depending on your business, you may or may not have a period of time where it's a challenge period or a period where you need to increase sales. Now, I know when I was employed as a corporate employee, there were, whether it was quarterly incentives and then our annual incentive, and you wanted to go to President's Club, but then there were your own personal goals that you wanted to do. Like you needed to make more money because you needed to do something. Like right now, Dan and I are in the process of buying a new house. And so there is an end to that. And we've been working so long, and this wasn't something that we woke up yesterday morning and said, hey, I think we'll buy a house in 2 months. No, we've been working on this for years to get us to this point. And so there's some things that take a little bit longer and other things that are quicker wins. But I go around the country and I train consultants in healthcare, and I talk about them working with and expanding their customer base, their account base. And I talk about Tom Brady and his wife Giselle, and that they schedule, as a family, they schedule championships because it takes that kind of support from everyone if you want that huge goal to happen. It's going to take the family. And Tom kept talking about how special it was that his whole family was there, because his whole family now gets to celebrate with him because they all participated in him scheduling out that day. And when you have a huge goal, something that's going to take a lot of sacrifice, you do need to get your family, your support system, everyone on board to understand what you're working towards. So when you say you can't do something, or when you say that you have a prior commitment, or you say this is not your year to do that, they totally understand. My husband, we had just talked about, because I was working with someone and I said to them, well, I think that the best thing for you to do is to go to this training. And they had said to me today, they had said to me that day, I would love to, but that is, my daughter's birthday is that week. I was like, that week? And Dan looked at me and said, Sarah, my daughter, she's 3, and I was there when she was born, but I haven't been there for her other birthdays. I'm not proud of this. I totally miss her when I'm not there, but my goals are so much bigger. I want to be, when I'm 39 years old, feeling like I'm Tom Brady. I want to feel like I have, been the greatest of all time, or the greatest of what I can be and what I'm setting out to do. And I know that it's going to take so many different sacrifices along the way to get there. And that's something that you really have to think about. You have to think about, have you scheduled this championship? You have to sit and say, it is, what year is it? And what have I done? What have I accomplished? But what have you given up to get there? And who do you need to recruit the support of in order to get you there? And that's just one of those things. I mean, I've watched so many self-employed people in a lot of different disciplines, and so they've achieved so much success. And it inspires me. And I love asking them, what did it take for you to get there? There's one particular person that I know, this was the year that she needed to hit the next income goal in her business. And it required every 4 weeks her jumping on an airplane because that's where the accounts that she was working with, that's where they went. They were somewhere that was not within driving distance. I have other people and they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't put in that kind of sacrifice. They wouldn't put in that kind of time. It's going to take, sometimes it takes time, sometimes it takes money, sometimes it takes talent, sometimes it takes support, and you have to figure out what is the goal and break down all the individual tasks. You need a little bit of money here. Maybe it's investing in some trainings or it's investing in some coaching. Do you need support? Do you need to figure out a support system? I work with someone and she's a single mom, and it's been really interesting working with her so closely over the past couple of months to figure out that support system, to figure out how to make it all work and to work with her and help her put that all together. And I really have just admired that she understands that it's going to be short sacrifice for such long-term gain. Is it going to be that talent? Maybe you're just not good at something and you need to either recruit the help of someone else or hire an expert or learn something or take some time for it. And again, what is that going to take? And how are you going to figure that out? And how are you going to measure it so you know when you're there? You know when you've made it. And I think it's really nice to have those sort of celebrations and celebrate that success, because in business, especially when we work for ourselves, it's really easy to not celebrate the success. People will ask me all the time, Sarah, how do you stay so motivated? And it can be really tough, really challenging, especially when it's a lot of self-motivation. But I put in these markers where it's, if I get this project done or I do this and I do that, I'll reward myself in some way. Maybe it's, I'm in need right now of a new mani, but I'm like, you know what? I've got to get this one thing off my plate for this week, and then I'll go get myself a manicure. Or other things might be, a little bit of a bigger celebration. I know Dan and I, we've done trips. We've done really special date nights. We've done gifts. There's been things. And so is it something material? Is it just, when I get this done, I will take a 15-minute walk around the block, just to kind of mix things up? What is it, a quick reward, or is it something that's a little bit more long-term for you? And you have to do that, and you have to treat it like it is, like it's a whole season. I mean, I also like working with athletes, and I like thinking of that athletic mentality because they often do work in seasons. This is my season for training. This is my season for performing. This is my season for rest and recuperation. But if you really want to do this fast and you want to be the best at a very fast pace, what Tom Brady taught us was that he doesn't stop training. And he takes care of his mind, he takes care of his body, he takes care of his nutrition, he takes care of his supplementation. He enlists coaches around him, he enlists support around him. I mean, I've listened to podcasts from his chef. I've listened to people that have had interaction with him, whether it's just the way he feels about the clothes that he wears and the lifestyle that he lives and what is getting in your way. For a while for me, it was, an organization system. So I know I invested a little bit of time and money into organizing my office space. Now, I didn't do that during my prime business hours. My prime business hours, I'm working on the stuff that's result-producing activity. But the sacrifice was maybe on a Sunday morning, instead of, going out to brunch with my family, instead of, catching up on my crazy shows or whatever, that morning was one that I said, you know what, this is a chunk of time. It's not really allocated to anything else. I'm going to invest in myself, in my business, to get myself so I'm more productive because my environment wasn't that great. And so you have to look at all those pieces. My husband and I, we talk a lot about being the best and having everything be the best. And so whatever we can, whatever's within, our budget or within our ability, we make sure it's the best. So we might not have a lot of things, but what we do have is always the best of the best. And if something that's going to make our life easier, to make us more efficient, to make us more productive, that's what we invest in. Always. Simple things like I do not go to the grocery store anymore. I invest in delivery services that can bring my groceries to me because it's not worth it, and that doesn't make me a better mom. So I kind of think to myself sometimes, what would someone like a Tom Brady do? And if that's the type of year that you want to have, which I know that you do. I know that you do because you've watched this video to this far. You've been on with me. If that's the type of year that you want to have, sometimes it's about what you want to eliminate to get you closer to those goals. And so they were talking in some preseason, some pre-interview things for the Super Bowl, the fact that Tom Brady in March was at a dinner party and he waved away and said, "I'm not going to have a drink." And sometimes it is about eliminating things, so Tom was saying, "I'm not going to drink," and that's going to get me closer to my goals because it's going to allow me to train better tomorrow. And he was training in March for a Super Bowl that he was competing in almost a full year later. And he knew he was going to be in that Super Bowl. And he knew he didn't want to be there and say, "I wish I had gotten more training days in. I wish my mind was stronger. I wish I knew more plays. I wish I had spent more time with my team." That was just such a well-oiled team, a well-oiled machine for all those reasons, because of the leadership, because of the dedication. And the leader will always set the pace for the rest of the pack. And you're on here because you're a leader. And you're a leader, and it's your responsibility now that you know to set the pace. And whether you're a parent, whether you're a big sibling, whether you lead an organization, whether you're building something or you're building a small business, you're self-employed, maybe you're a practitioner and you're working in a health clinic and you're leading patients and you're also leading your staff that's working with you. Maybe you're leading a sales organization. And so people are looking up to you. But you know what? Sometimes the leadership that is above you is also looking to you to be a leader. So leadership, I think, can come from both up and down, side to side. It doesn't matter. There's always going to be someone that is setting that pace. And why not make that you? If these are things that you like to do, or you want to talk to me further about exactly how I design my day, design my year, how I work to become a leader, work on some of these skills that I'm learning from guys that I'm watching from afar, like Tom Brady, or people that I'm working a little bit closer with, like other professional athletes, other coaches, mentors, people that are the best in their field, because that's who I go to. So if I feel like it's my season of mental health, I go find the best person that's going to help me with mental health. If it's my season of, increasing sales, I go to the best person that's going to teach me how to increase sales. So whoever it is, and I'm going to that person, those are the resources that I want to share with you. I would like to show you how I design that, how I make that happen, and where you can learn more from me, because I have a really rigorous 2017 schedule. So if you're not right here in my backyard, but you would like to spend a day and train with me, I'm sure I can get that to you, because I'll be traveling the country in 2017 and would love to see you at one of my events where we go through that and we talk about expanding your mind, expanding, your thoughts about winning, about making more money, about making a difference, about pulling things together, and how you can actually lead a whole organization this year if that's what you want to do. I'd love to hear from you, so message me or write a comment below. Love him or hate him. Tell me what you think also about Tom Brady and about this Super Bowl win, and what was your biggest takeaway? What was the difference between, four-time Super Bowl champ Tom Brady at 39 years old and his team, and they call him Matty Ice, right? Like, he was cool, calm, collected. He was the MVP going into the Super Bowl. 31 years old, he impressed me. He had it going on. He had momentum. He had everything on his side. But what do you think was the difference? And how do you think that Tom Brady's day-to-day and what we hear about him in the media, which, we know to be true, that his diet, that his support system, that everything is right on track. What do you think the difference is between the person that walked away with that Super Bowl trophy last night and the person that did not? I'd love to hear your feedback, and if this turns into too much of a football debate and not just a leadership championship debate, we'll have to have my husband jump in here and unravel some of the stats for us. I can only talk about, what I think that this is from really just a goals and a sales perspective. But I'd love to get this controversial dialogue started.